Welcome to are we welcome to another surprise live. Wednesdays. Okay, I need to figure out what time this is and try to be consistent. But you know what? At some point between 7 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Pacific, that's when I start my lives. So, all right. Get on in here. Get on in here. Hello. Welcome. How's your day going? What's up? You saw the title. You see what it is. Okay. But first, we're going to be gentle. We're going to start easy. How's everyone's day going? How's the temperature in your apartment? Is it good? Personally, I was walking outside and my hands got cold. So I'm finally seeing blood circulation back in my fingers. But yeah, how y'all doing? What's the temperature like? Like, are you good? Get ready. This is going to be a moment. This is really going to be it. So, I feel like in life, I probably talked about this a while ago, but I just see recurring themes, right? Recurrent themes, however you say that. And I've been going through something that's like, it's not that dramatic, but it's a situation that is very complicated. And I was like, yo, it has lots of layers and nuance, right? And as an individual, of course, everyone goes through that. Pretty much what happened was someone I was close to. Okay, so it looked like, so this is from my perspective. Let me tell like this. I saw them do something that indicated a breach of a contract we had decided on. So I told this person, if this situation happens, please let me know. They said, okay. They clarified that they understood, if this happens, let me know. Now, I go through, it's a few months, and then I hadn't been online. I hadn't been on Instagram. And one of my friends was like, hey, you should see this. And they sent me the thing, and I look at it, and it appeared as if the person had broken our contract. I use it loosely, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I've seen what it is. You want to get up here and disrespect me? Okay. I'm just deleting your number. I'm not talking to you. I'm like, I'm done. There's nothing else to do. I had a full panic attack. I couldn't eat. I love food. So I'm like, if I can't eat, then that's a problem. You're getting in the way of my bag and my bread, my food. No, it's a no from me. Couldn't study, nothing. So it's like, yo, this was not okay. I was freaking out. And then I was like, you know what? I can't just disappear. I need to actually be like, hey, I'm not cool with what I saw. I really would have appreciated you talking to me. So yeah. So I decided to tell that person. I was like, hey, I wish you would have told me. I found out about this. And yeah, I feel like you disrespected me because I really wish you would have told me, because we decided that if this happened, you would let me know. And if, we decided that and we agreed that it was fair. So I'm just disappointed in the fact that you didn't tell me. So the person was like, okay, but the situation isn't what it looks like. It's like, okay, but how was I to know that? Because all the evidence is there. It's like I'm seeing 2 and 2, and I'm saying it's 4. You're out here telling me no, that 2 has an exponent, a little 2 on the side. So really it's 2 squared times 2, which is 6. I'm saying I see 2 and I see 2, it's a 4. The person's saying no, but it's really 6 because that's not what it looks like. And I'm like, this is mind games. I'm out, bro. Like, it's disrespect at this point. I'm cutting this friendship off. Like, I'm deleting you. I'm done, right? Come to think of it, I've been reflecting, I've been thinking, I've been processing, and I feel complicated about it because my reaction was not wrong. I reacted to what I saw, and what I saw was there, plain as day. Anyone would have come to that logical conclusion. Keyword logic. Logic is putting two and two together. Math is a form of logic. Logic is saying, okay, here's the evidence. Here are the premises. What is the conclusion? Looking at all the premises and all the evidence and seeing the conclusion, I was like, okay, this is what it is. I'm looking at it objectively, and this is the conclusion I am seeing. And, you know, just because that wasn't the other person's perspective, I'm not still invalidating my own, right? So there was that. I'm like, my perception is still valid. However, because I did not accurately see the full picture, my reaction was out of context. Therefore, that reaction was an overreaction because it was out of context. Was I valid in feeling disrespected? Yes. Was I valid in, okay, this is the logical conclusion? Yes. Based on everything I could see, I knew why I was reacting that way. It was good that I still talked to the person, gave them a chance to explain. And once they explained, the answer still didn't make sense. But at the same time, it was like, okay, that's another perspective, which adds context. So it's not what I thought it was is not what it is. So I'm like, do I apologize? Because I didn't do anything wrong. What did I do wrong? I didn't cuss the person out to them, to their face. You know, God is working on me. I did not. I opened up to close friends about what happened, but I did not drag them. I did not say anything that was untrue. Everything I said were things that everyone can see. I did not share any type of new information. I just said, hey, I'm seeing this. I'm going through this. This is what me and this person have decided. And now I'm seeing things. I'm seeing random things. Please help me. I'm spiraling. It was not a focus on them. It's a focus on, I need help, sis. I'm going through a lot. Other than that, I was not out here slandering their name, was not doing none of that because that's not necessary. Do I need to apologize? Now, the misunderstanding did disrupt the friendship. It did. It got to a point where, I don't know if y'all have been through this, but you can't even see the person's face. Like, picture nothing. Can't see their name, can't see their face, because it will put you in a bad mood. And the bad mood is not even being angry about everything, because again, the situation was not that bad as what I thought. But it still put me in a bad place because there's this guilt. It's like, did I do something wrong? Like, am I wrong for misinterpreting the situation when it was literally set up to look that exact way? How else would I know? Like, what other conclusion would I even come to, right? I felt set up. I said, somebody set me up, right? And now I'm wondering, do I apologize? And the reason I'm thinking, do I apologize, is because it has disrupted the friendship. I have looked back over this friendship and I have seen that it's been a good one. With the exception of a few times, it has not been a source of stress. The person's not toxic at all. The person is actively working on becoming better as an individual. And like, I only want friends around me who are dedicated, people around me in general, who are actually actively trying to do better. The person is one of those people who is actively trying to do better. And even though we've had our misunderstandings in the past, we've come to a compromise and done the thing, right? Hey, Ayanda. Listen, guys, I was listening to this podcast because I was like, yo, I don't think I need to apologize because I didn't do anything wrong, right? I did not. What would I apologize for? Because I believe apologies should be sincere. When you apologize, you're saying, I acknowledge that what I did was wrong and I'm not going to do it again. It's like, but how am I going to say I'm not going to do it again if I didn't do anything in the first place that's illogical? Like, it's not my fault, right? I listened to this podcast called Black Girls Heal. Don't let the title fool you. Everybody needs to listen to it. Black Girls Heal by Sheena Tubbs. Like I said, recurrent themes. I've been praying about it. I've been journaling. I've been trying to focus on school, and then this is running through my mind. Tell me why she has an episode that came out like last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago. 5 reasons you need to apologize. Apologize, you're wrong. And tell me why the first one is like you had a misunderstanding and you overreacted. I was like, drag me then. Drag me. But when she broke it down, she really broke it down so beautifully that, like, if you misunderstand, you're not wrong for your perception, you're not wrong for your opinion or whatever, but you're apologizing for not understanding fully and whatever thoughts you may have had before you cleared it up with the person. Something like that. I really recommend y'all listen to it. Let me put it in the chat right now before I forget, because I really want you guys to have these resources as well. So it's Black Girls Heal, episode 90, 5 reasons you need to apologize. I encourage you, give it a listen. So, yeah, I think something that to keep in mind too is that as women, people who are raised and socialized as women and female and girls, we get socialized into apologizing for literally everything. We are made to feel like our very existence is something to apologize for. I could get into some type of feminist thought and talk about it, but I'm not going to do that because I have not read up on it recently. But it's very annoying where every little thing you feel like you have to apologize for. You have to apologize for being too loud. You have to apologize for being too quiet. You have to apologize for apologizing. Have some of y'all been there? And it's like you get gaslit, right? Things that are not actually your fault, you end up having to apologize for. There are people who are crazy out there in the world who want to harm you, yet you're the one who has to carry yourself and carry their guilt and carry yourself in a way that's like scared and afraid. And it's like, why am I afraid? I didn't, an innocent person doesn't run. Why do I have to run just because there's some crazy people outside are the reason why I cannot, walk outside at this time? As women, we have to be afraid and we carry this guilt. Something will happen to you in your past, someone else violating boundaries, and you're the one always apologizing for it. We're told to cover up if there's something to be ashamed of. So many, you're made to be ashamed if you're ambitious. That's so crazy. What man have you ever heard has to be ashamed of being ambitious? Never. That does not happen to them. But with us, we're told, oh, don't get too successful, because if you're successful as a woman, then no man's gonna want to be with you. You even talk to guys and you're like, would you marry someone who makes more money than you? And they're saying no. I'm like, are you dumb? Why would you not want more income in your family? Why would you not? I'm not saying be materialistic, but I'm saying, why are you threatened by someone who makes more money than you? Anyway, I could go off on this tangent, but I won't. So I'm already trying to undo some of that learning and be like, okay, no, my feelings are valid. I don't need to apologize for that. My perception is valid. I don't need to apologize for that. The conclusion I reached was logical. Not that you have to apologize for being emotional. There's nothing wrong with emotion. Matter of fact, you should have emotion. Emotion plus logic, always necessary, both. So I felt like I was gaslighting myself and I felt really conflicted. But at the same time, I valued this relationship and this friendship that I didn't want to lose the person just because I want to be right or just because I'm not wrong. So my thing was when I listened to that podcast, she encouraged us, apologize if you misinterpreted the situation and you jumped to a conclusion, because when you do jump to a conclusion, you're assuming something of the person that isn't true and that isn't fair. And if you give them a chance to explain, you'll hear another perspective. Now, I'm talking about people who are good people. I'm talking about people who have a track record of being amazing people in your life, people who add value, people who are supportive. Guys, sometimes we're wrong. Can we just talk about that? sometimes you're wrong. You're not always the victim. Sometimes you see things wrong, something may appear to be a certain way, and it makes you see the person differently, and it might not be true. What you're apologizing for is you're apologizing for that moment where you really thought, dang, this person's like that, this person's that bad. That's what you're apologizing for, that moment of clouded clarity, right? Where you looked at the person differently than they truly are. Again, perfect, because that's not true. But sometimes, guys, we're wrong. Sometimes it's okay to be like, yo, I'm still, my feelings are still valid, but at the same time, I do need to apologize because I wasn't accurate. And and something else I was thinking about is like, yo, like even if you look at Jesus, Jesus died for sins that he never committed. Think about that. So who are you? Somebody, a human being who's imperfect at times. You do make mistakes. It's okay to apologize. Jesus died for things he never did. It's okay for you to just say, hey, I misinterpreted the situation. My bad. I'm sorry. That's okay to do. And there's an analogy that really reminded me of that my dad said, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Grace, for the comments. I really wish I could see you guys so I could be like, okay, and hear you as well. I want to hear your thoughts on this too. If you have an experience, feel free to type it. But yeah, I was just thinking about how when I was first learning to drive, my dad said, when you drive, be confident. Be confident. Like, do not take a left turn unless you know you're going to hit the gas and go. If you're still like unsure, then don't go because you're going to end up hesitating and get hit and it's an accident. But at the end of the day, what he told me is even if you're in the right of way, sometimes you got to stop. Rather hesitate and be alive than be in the right of way and be dead, right? Sometimes in situations, yeah, you may not be in the wrong, but it's okay to just stop and apologize. And it doesn't matter, even if you feel like, oh, then I'm going to look weak, then I'm going to look like I'm taking back what I said. No, you're not undoing what you said. No, you're not invalidating your own perspective and opinion. No, you're not going back on, your own beliefs. Sometimes you just got to pause, you got to stop and say, look, somebody has to apologize. I can't control the other person. I'm going to just apologize for my part and leave it at that. Because again, you can be in the right of way. Maybe you're right. But if you lose a friendship over that, if the person looks at you differently because of that, like, wow, like this person really has so much pride that they can't admit when they're wrong, then you've lost. It's not worth it. Sometimes you're wrong. And even if you're not, sometimes it's worth it to look like a punk, to, look like whatever, and just say, look, I apologize for the part I played. That was not my intentions. I am sorry. Right? I encourage you, go listen to this podcast. She went in depth. She talked about it, in more eloquent terms than I currently am doing. But yeah, like, look, sometimes it's just worth it to admit that. Because yeah, at the same time, it's like, how would you like this person to really feel about you? Like, would you rather them have the thought of like, okay, when she's wrong, she will eventually apologize. When they're wrong, at least I know eventually they will apologize. Or would you rather them see you as that person who nobody can tell them anything, they're never wrong, you can't check them, you can't hold them accountable because they'll always play the victim? I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person who people are like, oh, you cannot even correct her because she thinks she's all that and she's not going to take it. She's going to take it as an attack. I would rather be that person who takes a step back, who thinks things through, and then comes back and reapproaches and says, hey, yeah, I didn't feel comfortable in that situation. And I am letting you know that I wasn't comfortable. At the same time, I apologize for anything I might have said that has negatively affected you, because you're not responsible for people's feelings. You are responsible for your own actions. I'm not responsible for how somebody feels or interprets what I'm saying, but it's up to me to say that to communicate in the best way possible. Because my communication, my point might be very helpful to them. But if I say it the wrong way, there, a way that makes them want to hear it, then no one will ever check them. They'll never be corrected, because they'll always say, oh, no, you're just hating, you're just this, you're just that. And it's like, no. So even though I'm not responsible for your feelings being hurt, I'm still responsible for what I said that hurt your feelings, if that makes sense. Now, it's up to you. Every situation is different. Not everything needs to be apologized for in that way. Sometimes people misinterpret what you say and they feel the way, and you're not responsible for that, right? But I think just, take it with a grain of salt. And again, listen to this podcast. She mentioned 5 reasons you need to apologize, and she went in depth with it more. Just reflect and see, okay, what are this person's intentions, and can I trust them, and can I apologize just to save this friendship? Because the thing is, this person is actually such a kind person that, like, they still reached out to me. They still didn't demand an apology. They didn't say it. They didn't bring it up again. To be honest, I would have preferred not to bring anything up again, because they still have not really apologized for the part they played in hurting me. But again, I can't control that. So when I look at them, I never heard them really apologize. So I might think, oh, wow, so they're the kind of person who never apologizes, even if you're wrong. Noted. But I don't want anyone to look at me and ever think that. I want people to know that I do care about them. I do care about your feelings. I care about your opinion. I care about how our interactions go. I want our interactions to be as enjoyable as possible. Sometimes that means saying, okay, I took a step back, I reflected. What I said was not wrong, but at the same time, I acknowledge that it affected you negatively, and that's not what I want. And I think that's worth apologizing for. Because, there's this Maya Angelou quote, which actually was my senior quote. And it's like, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. So even if this friendship continues, or this relationship, whatever it is, with your family, with whoever, people may not remember the details of your fight, but like the book title says, the body keeps count. Every time they see you, they're going to feel slightly on edge. Even if they can't pinpoint why, even if they don't remember what you even fought about, they'll just feel like, I just feel like I'm not safe. And that's because in the past, it was shown that this person doesn't care about your feelings. This person won't accommodate you, right? If they never apologize, then you feel like, okay, I have to watch how I act, because they're going to pop off on me, but I'm never allowed to bring something up with them. So now I'm on edge. And that's not a fun place to be. I want everybody to have freedom when they're around me, to feel peace, to feel like if I do something wrong, please correct me. Please do it lovingly and gently so that I can receive it. But please correct me. And if I never apologize, how do I make it clear that I'm open to correction? And again, people will remember how you made them feel. Here's a really interesting story. So when I was like maybe, I was under 10 years old. I think maybe I was 7 or 8, 9. I might have actually been 10. No, I was not. I think I was like 8. Or I don't know, whatever. So repressed memories, I can't remember. But no, I remember this one. So I have a really close friend. We've been friends since we were 4. And we were in church. We're talking to the preacher's wife, the pastor's wife. and she was like talking about forgiveness. I don't know if we were with the school or with what, or if it was just us two. All I remember is me and my friend. So the pastor's wife was like, have any of you ever experienced forgiveness recently? Do you know what it means to be forgiven? And my friend, I was thinking, I'm like, I don't know, maybe like, I did something wrong. I got spanked. I don't know. And my parents are not that bad though. Well, I didn't get spanked that much. No, I did. But anyway, I was thinking, okay, maybe there was a time my parents didn't spank me, right? So I'm like, okay, that's forgiveness. But my friend was like, yeah, I experienced forgiveness from her. And she pointed at me, and I was like, what? And I guess I'll never forget this because I remember it 10 years later, however many years it's been. So I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, remember we were at your house. We were getting ice cream from the freezer, and I opened the freezer too fast and something fell out and fell on your foot. Like I think one of those ice packs or whatever. And she said, I said, oh, sorry. And she said that I forgave her. And I was like, okay. For me, if my friend, she's one of those people when she was younger, especially like when there are adults around, she's shucking and jiving, tap dancing, like cutesy voice, like, nah, nah, nah. Like, so I was like, girl, don't make something up just for the pastor's wife. So I'm like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah. And and I'm like, I don't remember that. And she's like, yeah, and you forgave me. And I was like, okay. And the pastor's wife was like, see, you forgave so much and so sincerely that you don't even remember. I was like, okay, first of all, lady, you were not there. You don't know. We don't know if this happened. I believe my friend, though. I think it did happen. But what I really took away from that, and what I want to tell you today is that like people remember when you forgive them. People really remember that. Like grace is just something, your name's Grace. Grace is just something that stays with you, knowing that you are forgiven, knowing that, yeah, you had something that happened that separated you from a friend, but knowing that they extended that first olive branch back. I can't even tell you the amount of love that like collects and gathers and swells up in your heart when you're like, wow, this person really forgave me. That even before I apologize sometimes, like this person really didn't judge me for it, didn't decide to cut me off for it. Like they forgave me. And that forgiveness can be the first step in repairing the relationship, in having the person say, you know what, maybe I did do something wrong, and yeah, this person's apology just really inspired me to also apologize. I would say don't expect for people to apologize back, but a lot of the times you'll see that people will really appreciate that. And sometimes they may be too proud to apologize. I don't know. Maybe they're going through their own thing and processing it on their own. But yeah, I mean, I think it's really one of those things that stays with you and you really appreciate. Another story. This one is one that to this day I am just embarrassed. Okay, I need to get a prop. I'll be back. So this was and I remember because this is, I think, the exact magazine of Teen Vogue I got. Okay, so it was in 2015, right? So I was at an airport. I love reading. I read Teen Vogue as a teen. I was like, yes. Anytime there was any type of melanated girl, black girl on the cover, I'm like, yes, I'm getting it. I remember I got Willow Smith's cover. I got Yara Shahidi, got Zendaya. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I still have all of them. So that's why I had to do this. But I was in the airport. I found my magazine, found my Teen Vogue. I said, okay, we're ready to go. Let's go to the checkout. So I'm at the checkout. And I'm standing, right in front of the till. I'm like, okay, cool. The cashier looks at me or says, there were, you butted in front of this person in line. You cut in front of this person in line. And I hadn't even seen the person. I was like, oh, sorry. And I just like, took a step back, but the lady was like, no, it's okay. You go ahead. So I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you. I just had the one thing. They rung me up. I left the store. I got my Teen Vogue. I'm like, yes. As I am walking out and looking back, I noticed that not only had I cut in front of that one lady, but an entire line of like 8 people. I promise you, I did not know. I wasn't intentionally doing this. I was in the airport, so who knows how much sleep I had got. I had no idea. I didn't even see that. And the fact that nobody like yelled at me, that lady was nice enough to say that I could go first, like that stuck with me. That like being forgiven even before you realize you've done something wrong, being forgiven and shown grace, even like, without the person telling you, you gotta apologize, you did this wrong, you did that, like you figure it out on your own and you're like, wait a second, wow, that person really was the bigger person. And I appreciate that. A lot of us are the bigger person in so many situations, and it does get tiring. But when someone else is the bigger person for you on the other end, you just appreciate it that much more. So, yeah, I came up with this snazzy title, all of this to really say that sometimes we are wrong and that's okay. Apologizing can be the first step to repairing a relationship. And that grace you extend to forgive someone even before they apologize will be appreciated and remembered. And it's always worth it. In the moment, it may not feel good. In the moment, you may still feel away. But just knowing that that weight is off your shoulders is perfect. So, yeah, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this. If you're watching this after we go live, feel free to comment. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Like, I just had McDonald's and my body is just like not used to eating things that are not whole grain, and fruits. So my body's just like, girl, what's happening? Sorry. If you hear me burp, that's why. Um, Aw, thanks for saying that, Grace. Yeah. And also, if you're not comfortable sharing your story or saying how you were late, that's fine too. I just want to know one thing. What do you take away from this? Um, have you experienced being forgiven? You can just say yes or no. I don't know. Whatever you feel comfortable with. But like, yeah, I just want to encourage you guys because like a lot of the time we hear the other perspective of like, I'm unclockable, nobody can check me. I'm perfect. I'm this, I'm that. And of course, like it's good to have confidence and it's good to, not get easily manipulated and gaslit and pressured into apologies for things that really don't make sense. Cause that has happened too. That's another story. And those kind of friends, I cut them off. Like if you were making me apologize because you for random things, like I'm telling a joke that's not even about you in any type of way, not about anyone. I'm joking about a situation in general. And then you're like, I didn't appreciate that you were joking. And I'm like, girl, that's my personality. I'm a clown. Like, you're just gonna have to be offended the whole the whole way through, or you can block me because no, there's some people who are actually out here power tripping, trying to get everyone to apologize for nothing. Not talking about them. Those people, sometimes you just gotta, say, hey, for your health, I think you should block me because you're going to be offended by everything. That's another story. No, there was someone who was offended because I posted a star emoji. I need to post the star emoji. People are crazy out here. Don't let people pressure you into an apology either. But yeah, no, she got mad because I posted the star emoji, and I was like, this is a non-issue, guys. There's people who are dying, and we're out here talking about star emojis. But anyway, my Wi-Fi is glitching, so I'm going to cut this off. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate. So I'm going to cut this off. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate all of you for being here. Whether you stayed the whole way through, whether you stayed for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, you popped in and popped out. I appreciate you. Let me know what you took from this. 1 second before I go, I see, Grace, your comment. Yes, I've learned that forgiving others and sometimes yourself can save a lot of anger and bitterness from your heart. Yes. And forgiving yourself is also such a huge thing. Yeah. Sometimes you just have to look at yourself and say, I didn't even know that this person was going through that. And yeah, I feel bad that I contributed negatively to their experience at that time, but I didn't know. I was operating off what I knew. And sometimes, can we talk about it? Sometimes after you apologize, you still feel bad. But forgiving yourself is also a process, for sure, 100%. All right, I'm really going to log off now. It was really nice chatting with you guys. And yeah, I'll see you next Wednesday. Oh, wait, I'm actually going to see you in my next video, which is an ASMR video again. No, this is not a full ASMR channel. It's just that this month is really stressful and I want to create content that is very relaxing, not just to create, but also to watch. So we will be doing some different types of relaxing videos, but for now, it's going to be another ASMR next. Yeah, check out the last one. Even if you're not used to ASMR, check it out. Okay, like listen, man. For those of us who cannot sleep, it's such a blessing. So yeah, I really hope that it encourages, I don't know, relaxes you, whatever. And this video too, I hope it was just something to think about. So yeah, anyway, guys, I talked for a long time, but you know I love you. And I just miss talking to people, man. Anyway, all right. Bye.